Well, welcome tonight, Owensboro Board of Commissioners regular meeting, March 6, 2018. At this time, I'd like to have the roll call. Please, Clerk, Beth Cecil.
Commissioner Jay Galata.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Conder.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bob Glynn.
Here.
Commissioner Pam Smithwright.
Here.
Thank you. Now, at this time, would you please stand for the invocation and the pledge to allegiance by Commissioner Larry Conder.
Thank you, Mayor. If everyone could bow your heads and pray with me. Tonight, we would like to just look at Psalms 46:10. Well, the Lord said, "Be still and know that I am God." As we walk through life and we deal with the flooding that has happened to our community, our children being safe, paying our bills, working of the day, and the joys that we experience, the Lord said, "Be still and know that I am God." For all of our first responders, our police and fire, emergency management personnel that have helped so much over the last 2 weeks, our public works that have made our park even look better, be still and know that I am God. I ask you, dear Lord, to please bless our country, our state, and our city. Watch over us always in everything that we do. With this in mind, amen.
Amen.
And now the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. At this time, I'm going to read a proclamation for Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Jackie here? Oh, hello, Jackie. How are you? Whereas colorectal cancer is the third most commonly diagnosed and the second most common cause of cancer deaths for men and women in the United States, whereas colorectal cancer affects men and women equally. Whereas every 3 minutes, someone is diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and every 10 minutes, someone dies. Whereas only 39% of colorectal cancer patients have their cancers detected at an early stage. And whereas the survival rate of individuals who have had early stage colorectal cancer is 90%, but is only 10% when diagnosed after it has spread to other organs. Whereas the majority of people in the United States aged 50 or older were screened regularly for colorectal cancer, the death rate from this disease would plummet by up to 70%. Whereas colorectal cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable in most cases. Whereas observing Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month during the month of March would provide a special opportunity to offer education on the importance of early detection and screening. Now, therefore, I, Thomas Hart Watson, Mayor of the City of Owensboro, do hereby proclaim March 2018 as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Owensboro, and I urge all citizens to join the public awareness campaign about the importance of colorectal cancer screening. Okay, Jackie, you're up. We're going to present it out front, okay?
Let's go.
Perfect. You're welcome to speak at the podium if you like. You're welcome. Speak, huh? Well, okey-dokey.
Oh, okay.
Now do this. Okay, item number 5 on business. I'd like to ask for a motion to amend the agenda to also discuss in closed session tonight in accordance with KRS 61.8101F to discuss a personnel matter. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Second.
Okay, at this time, we'll have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Galata,
Yes.
Commissioner Conder,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Glynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith-Wright.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Thank you all very much. Item number 5A, at this time, we'd like to consider approval of minutes dated February 13th, 2018, and February 20th, 2018. I will make a motion. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B, consider board appointments. Citizens Advisory Committee on Community Development. Appoint Mario Verzette to serve on this committee effective February 26, 2018. Housing Authority Board, reappoint Rick Searcy to a 4-year term expiring March 20th, 2022. Wow, that just doesn't sound right. Westland Shawnee Neighborhood Alliance Board, reappoint Stephanie Clary to a 2-year term expiring March 15th, 2020. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. There's no second readings tonight of ordinances. Item number 7, first reading. Well, this will be hard to say. Mr. Lynn.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. First ordinance is Ordinance 4-2018, an ordinance abandoning and closing an alley right-of-way extending from Elm Street to within private property at 720 West 2nd Street in the city of Owensboro, Kentucky, at the request of Riverfront Forward, LLC. Introduced and publicly read on first reading the 6th day of March, 2018.
Mr. Parrish.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, this is a request to close an alley in the downtown area on Elm Street, just south of 2nd Street, behind the old Mexican restaurant. The alley is 69 feet long, 10 feet wide, and it services a parking lot behind that property on 2nd Street. This request comes from the property owner who owns all the property around the alley. The staff recommends it. There are no future requirements for the taxpayer to pave this property, so it's a money saver, and it makes the property more attractive for development.
Thank you. Is that the old Royce?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Since it's first reading, there'll be no vote. Okay, item 8 is municipal order. Mr. Lynn.
Municipal Order 5-2018, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a memorandum of agreement between the city of Owensboro and St. Benedict's Homeless Shelter, providing for payment of $2,647.08 for additional assistance during white flag events occurring during the winter of 2017 and 2018, and to pay the cost of white flag events at a rate of $125 per event over each of the next 5 years. Introduced and publicly read for approval this 6th day of March, 2018.
Thanks, Steve. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
City Manager, could you please expound on this? I think I know, but you probably do a better job.
Yes, Mayor. Thank you. I have worked with St. Benedict's on this and with the County Emergency Management Director. This is a request, first of all, to modify the current memorandum agreement because we had a cap on the number of days that we would pay for. The days exceeded what we expected. There was more cold weather, and those people had to be taken care of. That allows us to pay the additional funds of $2,647 that St. Benedict's expended so that they could care for these folks. Secondly, going forward, this establishes that the city and the county will equally share at a rate of $125 per night without a cap on the number of cold days. Because, of course, when you're cold, it doesn't matter what the cap says. So we're recommending that you approve this additional payment of $2,647 and authorize this memorandum of agreement of $125 per event over the next 5 years.
Thank you, sir. Is it 15 degrees, 16?
15 degrees, Mayor, either actual temperature or 15 degrees wind chill.
So who can tell the difference between 16 and 14?
I think the words they use is it's cold.
It's cold, okay, all right. Any other discussion? Commissioner Smith-Wright.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the county's not given anything to this $2,647, right?
Mayor?
Sure.
Actually, the county gave $9,000 initially as an incentive to help with the building, so the county is well ahead in what we've paid. This doesn't make us equal, but it brings us closer to what the county has paid.
Thank you.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
welcome. And there has been discussion between the county judge executive and the mayor about possibly figuring out how to make that extra spot over there just permanent, rather than to try and figure out how many cold days you're going to have in the winter. So, any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, city manager items.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm
You're welcome.
asking the commission to consider the following personnel appointments tonight. Nate Pagan, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointment as Assistant City Manager effective March 21st. Andrew Jones, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment, mechanic, effective March 6th. Nicholas Radcliffe, regular full-time, non-civil service appointment, truck driver, effective March 13th. Ian Clark, Jennifer Hines, Zachary Morris, and Joshua White, regular full-time, non-civil service appointments as firefighters or police officers, effective March 19th.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second, please. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9B, city manager comments.
One more item tonight, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm pleased to announce that our Finance Department has once again won the Government Finance Officers Association Award. This is a budget presentation award. It talks to the transparency, that is that our budget is online, easily to get to. It speaks to that it's clear, concise. No, it's hard to understand for us lay folks, but it's a clear and concise presentation of the budget. It means that the public is assured there's attention to detail and accuracy, and it's actually a gauge of the quality of work that our department does. This is not an easy award to earn, but I would ask, Mayor, if you're willing, that you present this award to our finance director and her staff tonight.
Sure, be glad to. We'll do it out front. Come on.
And staff.
I would again, yeah, I would.
Okay, you bring candy?
Yeah. Yeah, and Mayor, the reason why I wanted the staff to come tonight, which they should every time, this is the first budget award that we've gotten in the history of my employment here where we received no need to improve comments. Like it's pages and pages where they grade us. Every comment for the first time ever since I've been here was positive. And I'm only as good as the staff, so I wanted to defer that recognition to them and have them come forward. And if I could, I'd like to introduce them. Would that be okay? Okay. Okay. I wanted to introduce our Deputy Director of Finance and Support Services, Danae Galloway, and our Assistant Finance Manager, Tim Goff, and our Accountant, Whitney Brown. And this year, we stepped outside of our comfort zone and made changes to try and have all positive comments. And so we're just very pleased that it came forward like it did. So I had invited them to come. I wanted them to be here and sharing this tonight.
Great idea. Okay, come on, children. I don't care what this board says, I still don't understand the budget. Hello. And then you will. Congratulations.
They work hard. Thank you.
Well, I'm still waiting for an award that says the mayor finally understands the budget, and I'm going to be presenting that one, I can tell you that for sure. Okay. Item number 11, open public forum. No? Did I miss one? Item number 10. He's been talking all night. Communication from elected officials. Okay. Commissioner Smith writes.
Yes, I just wanted to congratulate Amanda Rogers on being the president of the State Parks and Recreation Association. I think that's awesome. It says a lot about her ability to run our park systems, and she does a great job here, and I just wanted to congratulate her.
I agree 100%. And what did you call that, city manager? More work, no more money?
Right.
Okay, more work, no more money. Okay.
Efficiency.
Efficiency. Okay. Commissioner Glynn?
Just two quick items. I was unable to attend the ribbon cutting for the Industry Innovation Center because I was taking debaters to a tournament. We're the same community college, but I have been in the building. It is absolutely wonderful, and it is a great boon for economic development in our community. It will lead to the hiring in the long term of thousands of Owensboro residents and area residents. So it's a great day for the college. It's a great day for the city because we help contribute to its construction along with the county. Second is, want to thank all of those who have worked hard to make to protect our park, and then also the flood cleanup that's currently ongoing. I know it's a huge job, and we appreciate the great work that's been done, including the inmates who were featured in a story yesterday. It's great that they were willing to come out and work. So I think we weathered a bullet, dodged a bullet in some respects, and hopefully the park will look better and as clean as new once spring starts. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Galata?
Mayor, just like to commend our public works for a great job during the flooding and high waters, our police and fire who were out in full force and protecting our community, and noticed a lot of them driving up and down the streets just to make sure the streets were passable. Putting all those signs out is a pretty big deal when people don't know that they're driving up in the dark on flooded streets. Our public service groups and the American Red Cross for all that they've done during this situation, and those that volunteer their time. And also the citizens that have actually reached out and called and said, if there's anything we can do, we'd be glad to man a fire hose down at the park to get it cleaned up if we need to. So thank you guys and everybody that in the community that just wants to be a part and trying to make this community, you know, get it back to where it was. So other than that, just glad to be here, Mayor. Thank you.
We're glad to have you. Commissioner Conda?
Thank you, Mayor. It was curious to see the orange and green down at the park today, to see the inmates down there all together. Sent a little note to Jailer Maglinger of just thank you, and he responded back with a fairly long email of how much that they really were wanting to engage and try to help the community. So it's a great issue. A week ago Friday, our First Lady, Glenna Bevan, was in Owensboro, and she was here advocating for her community engagement initiative, and it was in the media. And she does this, from what I was told by my wife, because it's her passion of children and foster care. She didn't want the media there. She didn't want anyone else there just to talk about children and foster care. She's very humble, very loving and caring person from what I was told. I want to make sure that the people of Owensboro understand that she's using and wants to establish, especially in Davis County and Owensboro, her initiative here out of 4 in the entire state. So it's a great thing that's coming. Last thing is just a question, Mayor, if I could. A little over a year ago, we were really heavy and deep into our budget after 15,742 different iterations of what we were looking at doing and how much we actually worked on that. As of today, I don't think we've been really presented a budget, and so I was wondering, other than the 800-pound gorilla of the pension cost, where are we today in the budget, please, in the budget process?
City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Unseen in this room is the 800-pound gorilla, because it is the base, the pivot point that we're going to have to swing from this budget. The current numbers are $2.9 million additional that have to come from the city of Owensboro, 2.5 of which have to come from the general fund. So that flavors and leaves a cloud over every other decision. The normal work is on schedule that we've done every year, in that Finance Department has already gone through input of numbers from departments, they've talked about healthcare costs, they've talked about all the things they have to do, but we can't bring this to, we can't consummate the budget until we know what that number is going to be. That budget has to be voted on a second time before July 1st, the end of the year, so we could squeeze it later. Certainly don't want to. Last year was more work because the City Commission was faced with having to overcome a long-term decline in our savings account. That has been overcome. We start to steady out, we'll start to climb out. So the need for the number of meetings is less now than before. If the state were to be able to come up with a pension decision in the next 10 days or so, I think that we can be on track to brief this commission at the April work session, middle of April, and recommend first reading on the first commission meeting in May and second reading on the second commission meeting in May, and pass the budget. The concern will be if they can't come up with a number. We're fortunate that we live in a time of spreadsheets and cell numbers, that staff over there can plug all the numbers in at the last minute, change that 2.5 to hopefully 0.5 or 0, whatever it is, adjust all the numbers in our $115 million city budget, and go in and make changes necessary to accommodate that. But I'm afraid we're at the mercy of that 800-pound gorilla that's still sitting over there by that door, and it's just oppressive right now.
Policeman don't look like he weighs 800 pounds.
We've given them instructions to fight the elephant.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I will tell you, I'm in constant contact with the Senate and the House over this pension issue, and there are several versions floating around. There's, you know, in the legislature, when a bill makes it to the floor and is passed out of, let's just say the Senate, and then they ask for any amendments, then that's when it gets crazy. And then what happens, they'll pass it out of the Senate, and then it goes to the House, or vice versa, according if it's a revenue bill or not. And then if they're opening it up for amendments, then that's when it gets crazy. So then they got to come together in a, you know, a committee of both House and Senate and try and figure out something that the governor will sign. There's several different avenues that they're talking about, and one of them's pretty favorable, and it's just a big mess that should have been taken care of a long time ago. And I do admire the governor, and you all, our Senator Bowen has been in the front lines of this for a year and a half, and done everything he could to try and make it as palatable as possible. So if it passed in its original 50% of your original, of what you paid normally, there'll be about 200 cities in Kentucky go bankrupt probably. Good part of that, you get merged government and the county's got to take you, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. But it is just consuming all the energy. I had the chance to be at GRAD's legislative breakfast, and it was just all about the pension basically, and so hopefully they'll come to some kind of agreement and make this work. And if they can do this, then probably middle of the fall they'll do a special session and begin to work on tax reform basically. And that's where we want to try and play a particular interest, so we can look at different options of how cities can generate their revenue other than the few that we have at this time. So I promise you our local government is on it, and we just got to keep pulling as hard as we can and adjust as it comes through. Someone asked me the other day why I would go back and be mayor again, and talking with Barbara about it, and there's just so many neat things that go on in this community that it's just unbelievable that most people don't have a chance to even know about. So I asked Leslie to just jot some things down that may be of interest, because this is truly what makes our community great. Former Mayor David Atkinson, you know, sent a key to Gary Blair. That's a big deal. He's been at Wendell Foster Center for a long time. The Owensboro Catholic girls basketball is heading to the Sweet 16. We had a meeting at O.Z. Tyler for Owensboro Oink project, which you'll find out a little bit more about that shortly. And it was pretty unique because they invited 12 nonprofits, whether it be social or arts or whatever. Unbeknownst to them, they were going to get a check that night for $5,000. And it was really kind of cool to see the look on their face, and it was a great thing. Then, as Commissioner Glynn said, OCTC ribbon cutting at the Innovation Center. We actually had Speaker Blanford was there, who was the original legislator that really got that going, and it's going to be state-of-the-art program. And quite honestly, 85 to 90% of the people that attend OCTC actually stay here after they get their education. There's and they're creating careers and not just jobs, and that's what we have to have if our economic development plan is going to work. There's coming up, there's a Share a Suit program, so that people through Haley McGinnis, we got the Owensboro Symphony. I don't know if any of y'all attended it, but it was. I've not ever been there. We haven't been there, Barbara, when they completely sold out. It's unreal, and they had all music of John Williams, right, and all his movies. It was, people were just crazy about it. The players in the there's going to be a big basketball tournament. It's called Grind Session World Championship Tournament. Some of the top 25 or 30 high school kids that are going to college are going to participate in that. A wonderful event, Cinderella's Closet, takes place March 17th. It's an annual event that donates prom dresses and jewelry and all that foo-foo stuff for the for folks that have trouble being able to get that. And over 170 girls from Davis County and surrounding counties will get a chance to go to their prom because of these donations. We had a Joni Pointer, a 2005 graduate of Owensboro Catholic and owner of Shop Local Kentucky, raised over $211,000 for the victims of the Marshall County shooting. So Shop Local Kentucky Strong t-shirts and all the things that went with that. And you might see a familiar face on The Voice this season. Former Bridgepoint Church worshiper Caleb Lee appeared last week on the singing competition, choosing Blake Shelton as his coach. I had an opportunity to welcome, I don't know, Larry, was there 150 CASA folks there at the executive end?
232.
Executive end. Am I just like a blast from the past? Oh, well, Blake's house. And then a really big thing is a site selection magazine named Owensboro the #2 on their Planet Growth ranking list. 13 new or expanded plants in Owensboro metropolitan area helped Owensboro jump from 7 to #2. That's a big deal for economic development. So, this is why we live here, and I'm going to try and find stuff like that each week in case you missed it. Austin does a great job of keeping us informed, but there's some times that we just got to talk about it, don't we? So that's my comments. Item number 11, open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the commission on any matter of public concern that was not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of the commission. This time, anyone who wishes to address the city commission, please make their way to the podium, be recognized, state their name and address for the clerk's record, and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. This item is not on the agenda. No response is required from the city staff or the commission, and the mayor reserves the right to extend the time of the speaker. So anybody from the public would like to speak? All right, we got a bite.
Okay. Well, thank you guys
You're welcome.
for giving me this opportunity to talk to you all. So I'd like to express my concerns with the recent flooding. Oh, sorry, yeah, my name. Christina Anderson, K-R-I-S.
And where do you live?
I'm from Maceo, Kentucky, 1039 Yelvington, Grandview Road.
You got all that, city clerk? Okay.
Cool, okay. I'd like to
Help
express,
yourself.
what is it? Sorry.
Help yourself.
Help, okay, thank you. I'd like to express my concerns with recent flooding and some of the things that Owensboro can do to help prevent this in the future. So, as you know, the city's billion-dollar investment has recently seen floodwaters, threatening the construction and, more importantly, the homes of families have been wrecked by havoc, flooding them beyond repair. I am especially concerned about the low-income families and their ability to move away, and how horrible it must be to lose your home to a flood. So while there are immediate efforts that we can take to help, if we don't work towards finding a permanent solution, we will continue to face these problems in years to come. So climate change is causing these drastic changes. We're seeing human activity as the blame for the cause of climate change. And while I'm not here to debate about the validity of climate change, I'd like to leave you with a thought and a call to action. So if 97% of scientists told you it would be safer to keep your child in a car seat for an extra 6 months, would you do it? Well, 97% of scientists believe that climate change is real, and while the other 3% are being paid by big oil companies to have you have some level of doubt about making change, you have to have some level of action to take. So, do you believe the 97% and take action, or just sit aside? So cities across the United States have taken action into their own hands, and Owensboro can do the same. One of the first steps being to push Owensboro Municipal Utilities to replace the current power plant that is due for deconstruction with renewable energy. Cities across Kentucky are doing this, and we can do this as well. Louisville, Lexington, Berea, Pikeville, places in eastern Kentucky that are directly affected, as here in Davis County, by coal. The second big step that we can do is to improve the current energy codes for new construction. Currently, the new buildings that are built are required, the codes that you all have on your website at least, are according to the 2009 International Energy Conservation Code. But it's been 9 years since that has been updated, and we can do better than that. So by reducing our carbon footprint, even before construction, we can save energy and money in the long run, making our buildings more efficient. We will be contributing towards efforts to help families everywhere, and families right here in Davis County, from being flooded out of their homes. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay. Item number 12, closed session. This time we'd like to consider a closed session under KRS 61.810, parentheses 1, parentheses B, to discuss the acquisition or sale of a property. Motion to enter into, I make a motion to enter into closed session. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Closed session we go.
Mayor, can I make
Oh.
a point of order there?
Point of order, uh-oh.
Reference 1F as well, since there's a personnel matter.
I thought I already did that. Okay, 1F as well, because there's a personnel matter.
We need another, are we good?
We're good, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
We're not, no.
Go ahead.
Now we just go in there for the heck of it.